This video contains spoilers of Twin Peaks up to Season 3, Episode 6. If you haven't watched this episode, please consider adding this video to your watch later queue. One of our newest favorite characters in the Twin Peaks The Return series is no other than Dougie Cooper. Defenseless with no self-control, the real Cooper enters the real world as Dougie.
Hello?
A man who we are trying to warn of his life-threatening situations. There has been a lot of questions of why the real Cooper has taken over Dougie's life, and how he will overcome this condition. Let us discuss and analyze Dougie Cooper. I am the Old Tin Man, and if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing to find more Twin Peaks content and more. Click the bell icon to be notified when I publish a new analysis video. Also, I welcome everyone to jump into the comments section down below to continue the Twin Peaks discussion. Thank you everyone for watching. The further down the line, the more we uncover Dougie's place in the world. He has a wife, Janey-E, a son, Sonny Jim, and a job at an insurance company called Lucky 7. Dougie's behavior before his switch with Dale is obscured. The audience has been presented with only a couple of scenes of the original Dougie, which makes his lifestyle even more interesting. Dougie Cooper, or Dale, begins in a catatonic state, where he starts off with a blank slate. In this state, he needs to be pushed to get anywhere, as he is frequently dazed and studies various objects. He eventually regains speech over time and is attracted to various phrases and objects that seem to be related to Dale's original life, such as a badge or a cup of joe. This is how the audience still knows that the real Cooper is hidden deep in this empty body. In episode 5, Cooper cries at the sight of Sonny Jim. At this time, I imagine Cooper is slowly understanding his situation and realizes innocent Sonny Jim is in the middle of a terrible situation. It could possibly symbolize what's to come of Sonny Jim later in the series. The viewers come to find out that nobody is deeply concerned about Dougie's well-being, besides giving him a ride home. This gives us the idea that Dougie's unusual condition is a typical episode that happens frequently. There's been various scenes where people ask Dougie Cooper if he is in dreamland or provides help knowing that he needs it. In episode 6, Dougie is brought home by the police as he couldn't find his way back home. Again. Janey-E explains to the cops that this is an issue that's common, and later tells Dougie that she planned a doctor's appointment for the next day. This state of Dougie may simply be an effect of Dougie's manufactured body, which I'll discuss later in this video. Although Dale has taken the role of Dougie, he still has his own original body instead of Dougie's, as Dougie's soul and body was returned to the lodge with his shaggy hair and beer belly. So that brings the question, why is Dale in this catatonic state if he is simply switched out with Dougie? His soul might have been fried for being in a different reality for so long, or his brain power might have been damaged when exiting the non-existent room. Dale's entry into the real world might have been organized so he can fall into this predicament. If that is the case, Dale's been trapped to bring his progress to a halt. Dougie's existence is a mystery, as we come to find out that he was purposely manufactured for a reason, and which has been fulfilled at the time of his departure. His mental abnormality might have been a result of his manufacturing procedure. This attribute of Dougie might have been purposely designed in the process to worsen over time, and eventually pass to another host once he departs from the world. In this case, it would have been passed to Dale Cooper. It doesn't feel like a coincidence that Dougie Cooper and Dougie Jones both present similar abnormal behavior, although Dale seems to have a more permanent form of this illness. Like I said before, this behavior seems to match his friends and family's experiences with Dougie before Dale's arrival. At the time Dale receives Gerard's message from the Red Room, he finds out that he has been tricked. If this was a trap to slow down and essentially try to stop Cooper in his place, who else would it favor more than EvilCooper? EvilCooper explains at the beginning of the series that he doesn't plan on returning to the lodge, so he manufactures a way to acquire more time in the real world. Like any other villain, EvilCooper tends to his malicious ploys and knows to cut the good version of himself out of the picture. Dougie is the best way to keep Dale idle for the time being, as EvilCooper knows of Dale's capabilities and intelligence, so why not take that away? This inactive state might not be the only event that was outlined for Cooper's return. In episode 5, the decapitated dead dude from Buckhorn, South Dakota had a ring in his stomach with the words, "To Dougie with love," from Janey-E engraved on it. We can only assume that this is Dougie's wedding ring, which seems to have been planted in this dead man's body after he died. This ring would obviously be reported as evidence for that murder, which means that the Sheriff Department of Buckhorn, South Dakota can locate and interrogate both Janey-E and Dougie. This would further slow down Dale's mission to stop EvilCooper and possibly imprison him, another ploy by none other than EvilCooper. This could potentially prove that EvilCooper murdered Ruth Davenport, the librarian whose head was found at the murder scene. The original Dougie also seems to be an oblivious and perhaps cocky character, one that gets himself into trouble. We find out in episode 6 that he owed $52,000 to a savage group due to a bad football bet. Although that hasn't been the only group that has been harassing him and his family, as he is a wanted man from various malicious groups. One of these groups placed a time explosive under Dougie's car, which exploded when one of the other groups tried to break into his car for God knows what. He seems to be on constant watch, but is able to avoid him through his newfound Dougie abilities.
Jake give two rights.
Although I don't know how much longer Dale will be lucky, as the passionate ice pick killer is going to ice him. To cover his own tracks, EvilCooper could have induced someone with authority and connections to benefit his main goal, as well as assassins to slow Dale down. A tactical advantage that would give EvilCooper the upper hand against Good Cooper is to gain control of someone with dominance. Having a pawn with enough power to keep his wrongdoing under wraps seems to be the edge that EvilCooper needs to reach his objective. Duncan Todd, the Vegas businessman, who we have seen little of, might be that advantage. In episode 2, Duncan's employee Roger receives a payment from him to send to a questionable woman for a questionable job. During this time, Roger asks Duncan why he lets him do these things. Duncan replies saying how he hopes Roger would never be involved with someone like him, as well as let someone like that into his life. Duncan's influence seems to target him as a fearsome man that has intimidated Duncan to assign specific duties to dangerous individuals. Someone like EvilCooper could persuade a wealthy and cowardly businessman, such as Duncan, to do his bidding without question. At this point, Duncan looks to have already dug his own grave and receives no benefit with his devious acts. Duncan could have been the person that has sent the ice pick assassin, or have the money to finance the glass box in New York. Could he have been the one that manufactured Dougie in the first place? While it's uncertain what power Duncan Todd actually has, but if someone like EvilCooper wanted to persuade him, he must have a great deal of influence. No matter how far Dale pushes through to stop EvilCooper, there seems to be more danger the closer he gets. There are still a lot of questions in this new series. Could Janey-E and Sonny Jim be manufactured as well? How did Dougie and Janey give birth to Sonny Jim if Dougie is manufactured? Could this series have various parallel dimensions, one with EvilCooper and the other DougieCooper? What do you guys think is happening with DougieCooper? There seems to be a lot in the way of Dale's path to EvilCooper, but when will we see Dale's recovery from the stupor? EvilCooper seems to be taking this all pretty easily and looks to know what he is doing. It will be interesting to see what more he has planned. I want to thank everyone for watching this Twin Peaks analysis. Don't forget to subscribe to see more informative videos on Twin Peaks and more. Check out the Twin Peaks series playlist in the description and on this end card. What would you like to see next? Thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you.